Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live a beautiful, awesome life. I have my coffee this morning, and I would like to talk to you about something that comes up a lot. People wanting to manifest for others. That is a constant question. Can I manifest for others? Well, let's just start with a couple of big points. The first one is, if somebody could manifest something for you, would you like that? What if somebody wanted to manifest that you fell in love with them, and that's not really what you wanted, or manifested that you had a certain job and it wasn't the best thing for you, or somebody's manifesting something that isn't at all your life path or what you want? The second thing is, can we accept the fact that every single person has their own life path, and that we don't understand what or why those circumstances, certain people, how they're contributing to that person's growth, spiritual growth. It's always a spiritual growth, right? Because that's all we are, is light beings. So your assumption is that what you want for them, or what you think they want for themselves, that you, A, have more power than they do to manifest for them, that they're so weak and feeble they can't do it themselves. So there's a few factors going here. So let's hit the one that you want to manifest something for somebody else. You think that's what they want, and maybe they say that's what they want, right? And you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart. Maybe you want somebody to get well. Never forget that they have totally 100% capability of doing that themselves, right? And people like Christ that went around and did healings and whatever was demonstrating to them the power of their belief. They actually could have done it themselves, but through their power of belief that somebody else could do it for them or with them, they were able to heal. It was a demonstration of the power that all of us hold, that all of us can heal, yeah. So that wanting to manifest for somebody else is a direct interference of the law of free will. Or we all have free will, right? We make our own decisions, and through that we're learning our own power. So it's like, are you going to feed a baby for the rest of its life and it's an adult? Or are you going to allow it to, dump the food on the floor and fiddle around with the fork or spoon or whatever? It has to learn. And the more you interfere with that and take over, the more you're inhibiting its growth and ability to experience that learning and that triumph. So that is a direct interference with somebody being able to gain something valuable from that experience. If they choose to die, that is their choice. And your assumption is that's not good, and that I want them to live, and the best thing is for them to live. We do not know that. What if the best thing is they're done with their lessons here, and that by exiting, other people will benefit and have more lessons, and that they're going to go off to something really amazing? We don't know. We have got to just have the faith, or you'll drive yourself crazy, because you know who that is. That's the ego. That's the ego wanting what it wants for other people, and that is not good. No, it's not. No, it's not good. Nobody will learn if, I'm sorry. No one will learn if they don't get to go through the triumphs and the trials and tribulations. And we don't want anything to ever go wrong. And that is a frame of mind that something is going wrong. Nothing's ever going wrong. It's all part of the plan for us to experience growth and learning. Here, I'll move over so you can get the camera, because you egos love the camera. So I want you to remember, is that your ego wanting things for you or wanting it for them? But really what it's doing is making decisions that are beyond our understanding of how the universe works. So we're always, it's still the ego thinking that that has to be the best thing. So what I want you to understand is, if somebody said that her son goes in and out of jail, he's choosing that. So you want that to go away? There's something that has to be learned from that, and if he spends the rest of his life in jail, he chose it. Yeah, that's a tough one to accept. It's still his life. He gets to choose. You know, I wouldn't wish that for him. Well, he's doing it. He's doing it. So where's the lesson for you? Instead of wanting it to stop, what can you learn and how can you help him so he can make it stop? If somebody is ill, maybe that's an opportunity to sit down and say, you know, people are healing themselves. Because you don't know if that person's supposed to be sick or not. Or if it's unnecessary, if it's a lesson, because they can always do that, you know. But the ego always wants things a certain way. And it's just not going to help anybody progress. I want you to remember that. So, yes, we want good things for others. But we, again, are discounting that there is value in this journey. And we all want that, the illnesses to go away, the struggles to go away, and what. It's never going to go away. Struggle can go away. When you stop fighting it and you say, what am I supposed to be learning from this? Why is my son going into jail all the time? What can I do? Not, can I manifest? What if I want something and somebody wants to manifest something different for me? That's not good. See, even Hacker T Dog playing the ego today, thank you for that, by the way, I appreciate that, is agreeing with the fact that, you know, we all have a journey and we all have to experience what we have to experience, and that letting go, all of us can do, allows and respects that, even though there seems to be it's unnecessary. For some people, yeah, it's really unnecessary. But I want you to remember something. It's going to keep coming back until they learn their lesson. And if your son goes into prison all the time, goes into jail, and he's just not getting it, and if you're helping as much as you can, that's your role, then you have to let it go. He made his choices, and we don't know. You're like, what a waste of a life. Maybe not. Maybe he will go into jail and become enlightened and become an amazing person that he never would have been able to be if he was out here free. You know, not disciplined in what he's going after. So just remember this. We're discounting the value of the journey constantly. I see everybody constantly doing that. Not everybody. Many people constantly just not wanting things to be a certain way, and that's the same for you. Now, there is power in the collective consciousness. So let's say you do want to be healed. You can pull in people and ask for prayer, and if that person does want to heal or you want to heal, you can ask. And then, yes, there will be power in that, because then you have multiple people, like our global meditation, every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. By the way, sorry, sometimes I don't get to shoot a new one. I will always repost an old one. It's just as powerful. So I want you to just remember that there is power in the collective, but why doesn't it work sometimes? Because maybe that person or that thing that's happening was not meant to go in that direction, and that personal choice is number one. Yeah, and sometimes that is the ego, right? You know, sometimes it's their ego not being able to let go of situation. They want things a certain way. So we have to remember that we are one collective, but we are individual expressions that are allowed to make our own individual free will choices. Now, somebody said, prove it to me. How many houses do you have? How much money do you have in your bank account? Prove it to me that you're wealthy. So again, this is the ego believing that if somebody else has status, let's say, you know, we have these multi-millionaires out there, you know, showing flashy cars and this and that, and you're going, oh, okay, he has it, you know, whatever. Has nothing to do with whether you can have that or not. You don't need somebody else to be wealthy to tell you what you can and can't do. If they give you tools or whatever to do something, like maybe, you know, with me, it's my internet training. If, you know, people receive tools and an education to learn how, step by step, how to create an online business so that they can change their own lives. But nobody else can do that for them. So when somebody comes and says to me, what are you going to do? How are you going to help me make money? I'm like, don't join. Don't learn. It's like going to your Harvard professor and saying, all right, so when am I going to get a job and how much I'm going to make? And when is... They'd say, get out of my classroom. It's a class. Learn, apply it. It's your individual choice of what you do. So you can have hundreds of people praying for you, but if you ultimately need to learn something through the illness or whatever, or you're not ready to let it go, you think you are, it will not happen. So just remember that. The same thing goes with anything that we do as a collective. It's still somebody else's choice. You can wish them the best. So you're sending that positive energy, and it can have an amazing effect, but it still has to be received by the other person. So when you're sitting there wanting somebody to get healed, that's usually, sometimes it can be the ego. The ego, and not, listen, I know you want the best. You want the best for, you know, your loved ones and friends or whatever. But the ego often wants things to be a certain way. I want them to be healed and with me. We can't let go sometimes. It's difficult for us to let go of things. We think this is it. The material world is the be-all, end-all. But it's not. So when that person asked me, how much do you have, and this and that, that person was measuring happiness with wealth. So he wanted me to prove that I had all these houses. I did. I had mega houses, multiple ones. And I was on private jets. And we had tons of things and cars, multiple cars, very expensive cars. And I'm going to tell you what, not one of those material things had any bearing on my happiness at all. So when somebody says, what do you have? I'm thinking, why would you even ask that question? I'm choosing what I want. And if it is the cars and the homes and stuff, that's my choice. And if it's not, my happiness rests on something else. So again, we're measuring according to our ego and what our ego thinks is important. And so I don't think the material world holds bearing, happiness. I think it's a bonus. And I always have exactly what I desire all the time. I don't really need to function in the material world on that level to make me happy anymore. And I have to tell you what, the less you focus on, the more abundant and joyful you can be. When you focus on just really experiencing your life and really getting the lessons and saying, can I be my best? So just remember, when you're wanting something for somebody else or whatever, it doesn't matter what somebody else is doing. They have their journey. If they want your help or there's something you can learn from their journey, then step in and offer it. Most of the time, people are just interfering. They're really interfering, trying to fix somebody else that doesn't want to be fixed, or enabling them. Yeah, we know about that, don't we? Yeah, you keep, you know, oh, you can do this, and then they just love for you to just sit there and tell them all day, you know, how great they are and how talented. Then they don't do anything with it. Have you been with people like that? They just like talking about it. So the issue is not them, it's you. If you keep trying to fix them or change them because they're in control. They have the same power you do that everybody has. It's not skewed. It's not like, well, you have the power and I don't. Everybody has the power. Your son has the power to stop going into jail. They must be doing something to get into jail, right? No manifesting is going to do that. Manifesting is how he's going to behave every day to stop doing those things, to put himself in jail. It's really that simple. But we want those things to go away. That is why we're here. And when we name it good and bad, you know, then we get ourselves stuck in a corner. And also, suffering is not required. You will experience human feelings of pain and loss. Absolutely. That's part of being human. But suffering is when you battle it. Suffering is when you don't want to feel it or want it to go away. And so you're not valuing the very thing that's going to take you to the next level. Right? The very thing that is going to get you to that life you want to live. But you battle it because you're not learning those lessons. You're not saying, okay, what is this? What am I supposed to get from this? Because there's something that needs to be released, or there's a belief or something else. So really take a look at that. Even you wanting to manifest for somebody else is something that you may want to look at yourself and say, why? Why do I need it to be a certain way? Well, I want the best for them. According to what? You? Maybe illness for some people. I remember Lance Armstrong saying cancer was the biggest gift he ever got. You know, he was doing some stuff, right? Drugs for the, you know, his biking, and it probably shook him up. It took him down to a completely different level, right? He almost died. And so the bottom line is now he can help other people, and he is living a different life. And he was very into him and winning. Cancer, was that a bad thing for him? He doesn't think so. So can we allow others to just experience life, sometimes in its most painful form? And ask yourself if your ego is what wants others to be different or to not experience pain. Yeah? So I hope this makes sense. It's not easy to accept this. We don't want others to suffer. We don't want a world of pain. But then our lesson is to let that go. That's what we should work on, is why am I wanting to control the world and other people and not allowing them to progress to their higher spiritual self? And what am I learning from them being sick or them experiencing some trials and tribulations? What am I learning from that? And what can I do to assist? Because that's part of the program, right? We all come in and play different roles to help each other to progress and be somebody who's amazing. And you're whole and perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. You want to do the blessings? Yes? Okay. Hacker T and I, the ego, a.k.a. the ego, wish you peace and love and joy, my friends. Namaste.